Thanks CJ for joining us in this third episode of Briefing from Melbourne. Could you start by briefly introducing yourself, CJ?
Yeah, I'm mostly my friend and even professionally they call me CJ.
Yes.
I'm from Malaysia. I left Malaysia at the age of 21.
Wow.
So took a boat to India and went overland through Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, all that, to Europe. First in Germany, then ended up in Sweden. So I lived in Sweden and Denmark for about 21 years.
I see.
After that, married, have kids, decided to move back to Malaysia. Came back there for some years, struggled a bit because been away for so long, and adapting to I was like a foreigner in Malaysia.
Oh, okay. Like a tourist.
Because I left very early, so I don't have that much job experience. But what I found is that being always a foreigner somewhere,
Yeah.
you always have to learn to adapt.
Yes.
And so I got an offer in New Zealand. So after 7 years, I decided to again pack up and move to New Zealand.
Right.
But unfortunately, it didn't work out. So after 1 year, and then a friend gave me a way out
Oh.
and invited me to come to Melbourne, help him out with the restaurant. So I was managing it for about 2 years, but that's not really my line or my passion. I decided to go my own way.
Right.
So applied for some jobs and then got a offer as a consultant for an educational based company where we sell educational product to teach children how to learn maths and English online.
I see.
So went for did a few years,
Yes.
and one of the CEO of that company left, became a director of a property company,
I see.
and he brought me over. So that's what I'm now. With a company called Residential Project Australia, headquarters in Sydney. What we do, we're a research and acquisition company. We do a research all over Australia, where is the next growth area, good area to invest in, and we bring it to our client
I see.
according to their capabilities.
Right.
So, and we help them secure the property, help them with the finances, management, and so on.
Okay.
So my job as a consultant is to just meet with clients and share with them the strategies that we use, how we can help them,
Right.
and develop a plan, a strategy to build up the wealth through properties, and eventually for the retirement.
I see. So, right. What did you do before you left Malaysia? Like you said, you left when you were 21 years old.
Well, first of all, I was not great in studies, not my big interest. And I also know that my father couldn't afford to send me to university. And just having in those days, I think we have a MCE, Malaysian Certificate of Education. So I thought if I get at least a grade 2, they will land me a job, and it did.
I see.
So I was working as a clerk, like an accounts clerk. I took a year to study bookkeeping,
Right.
and so I was working as accounts clerk.
Right.
But I was not getting anywhere.
So you were originally from KL?
I'm originally from Seremban,
Oh, Seremban.
small town. So I think I worked in KL for about 2 or 3 years.
All right. I see.
Got restless, seeing myself stuck. I don't see much future. Looking forward where I was heading in the job,
I see.
and I was not interested in studying to upgrade myself. So it was like a situation I was not happy with. So I used to go to a restaurant to eat, and the son of the son, we are friends.
Yes.
So we met some people who has traveled overland to Europe and talk about the adventures and all this. Being young, I was just 21, and being young, I was really excited by the adventures and so on. So we decided just on the spot. They said, "Okay, let's go." And 2-3 months later, we were on the boat.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 days on the boat from Malaysia to India,
To India.
and went overland.
Wow. How long did you spend in India?
We just spent enough days just to keep moving, 2-3 days each place.
I see.
So that person who went on that route before,
Yes.
he gave us a plan. He said, when you go to this country, you apply for visa for the next one. So we stayed long enough just to get the visa for the next one.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
We
very
didn't have much
interesting.
money, so we need to get to Europe before we run out of money.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And we definitely don't have money to come back.
Oh, that's a
So it was like, you
really
know, you either you
adventurous,
make it or you're done.
wow.
Yeah.
How many of you guys go? Went
We
together?
were 4 of us.
Wow.
But on the boat, there were 2 other groups of 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. And what kind of boat did you went on?
It was both for laborers,
I see.
Indian laborers, and some students who study in medicine in India. They
Okay.
go on that boat. So it's a very cheap boat.
Wow.
At that time, that was back in 1976.
I see.
I paid 100 ringgit for upper deck.
All right.
Yeah, lower deck is worse.
Okay.
That's the cheapest. So I was at one class above, and there was 100 people on that deck, like dormitory style, with 1 bathroom. After 2 or 3 days, with the water, they were stuck,
Oh my God.
and the flooded with this much water, dirty water. I have to go in, take a bath, come out, stick my foot in, and wash it off. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it was quite an adventure.
Yeah. Could you briefly tell us about your early days in Europe? Sorry, I diverse so much, but very interesting story you have.
Well, when we were always traveling together, 4 of us. So when we came to Greece,
Yeah.
the 3 of people from my group, they wanted to go through Italy,
Yeah.
and we met up with another group which is actually from my hometown. I don't know them very well, but I know them by sight,
I see.
because from the party days we know one another.
Yeah.
So they said no, it's easier go by Yugoslavia, and I know I don't have much money to show. If they check, they're probably going to block me from entering and send me back. So I decided to go with them. So now I become the odd man out with 5 of us.
Oh,
Going through Yugoslavia, trying to hitchhike was almost impossible.
I see.
But when we finally arrived on the northeast part of Italy, Trieste, the youth hostel was closed. So we decided we have to keep moving. And that's when we started hitchhiking. So they paired off 2 by 2, and I was left alone for the first time
Wow.
in the whole journey.
I see.
Man, was I scared. I was scared. Lucky I got the ride very quickly because I was alone with the Dutch guy, and because I was so quite scared, I was hanging on to him. He stopped over in Switzerland in Lugano, and I stayed with him in the hotel, and I paid so much, share half the room price, went to restaurant. That was the most I spent in one day. Otherwise we were just eating bread and jam and just as minimal spending.
Right.
And because he said he was going to continue with the journey, but the next morning he said I've changed my mind and just dropped me off
Oh.
at the entrance to the highway. And I got picked up at an Australian couple,
Oh.
a retired couple,
Wow.
who bought me lunch, took me all the way to Zurich,
Uh-huh.
and then I met with some of the friends there, went to Stuttgart in Germany, and ended up staying there for almost 1 year
I see.
illegally.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yes.
And you want to spend 1 day at the German jail for overstaying.
Oh, I see. Okay. Wow, that's quite an adventure. So,
So from there, I tried to go to Holland. I was blocked at every border
I see.
because I didn't have enough money to show. I don't have a return ticket.
All right.
So he just keep pointing me upward towards Sweden,
I see.
and just travel up and down Sweden on the Euro rail. Instead of spending money on a hotel, I would just jump on the train because it's free.
Oh, okay.
Go down for a few hours and then come back up again.
Oh,
Sleep on the train.
wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then later part is like you settle down in
I
Sweden.
kind of settled down. Then I got sponsored, and after I started working, I got a PR there. And after I got my PR, I got married and settled kids.
Right, right. So you have 2 children, right?
I have 2 kids. My daughter is 26. My son is going to be 23.
Oh, they were born in Sweden
They were born in Denmark.
or in Denmark?
Swedish passport.
Oh, they're having Swedish passport at the
Yeah.
moment. Right, right.
My wife is actually grew up in Sweden, but actually parents are Finnish. So my wife are Finnish.
I see.
My wife is Finnish, and my kids are half Finnish, and I'm unfinished.
Okay.
Still work in progress.
Unfinished. Okay. Work in progress. Alright, okay, that's very good. Right, so when did you guys arrive in Australia as a family?
We came in 2006,
Uh,
September 2006.
I see.
So it's a little over 10 years now.
Okay. So how do you find Australia?
As a matter of fact, we never wanted to come to Australia.
It was New Zealand before, huh?
We were in New Zealand. That was also because the offer came in. It was not planned. Love New Zealand, beautiful place.
Yeah.
Very friendly people.
Yeah.
I just unfortunately didn't work out. I had to leave. The reason why, because my wife always heard about in Australia, all the crocodiles and the snakes and
Yes.
so on.
Yes.
Never wanted to come. And my experience with Aussies overseas, they tend to be pretty rough,
Oh, okay. I see.
you know,
Right.
and blunt. Not as bad as Americans,
Okay.
rough.
Right.
So I was never taken by the Australians.
Mm.
But I'm glad I'm here because when you really get to know the people, they're very different than what they are overseas.
I see.
Friendly, yes, they are straightforward, can be a bit blunt sometimes,
Yes.
but they're not beating about the bush.
Yeah. That's,
Now,
that's
you know,
one
they're not
good
bullshitting
quality.
you or anything like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, and I have many Aussie friends. I have friends from all different nationalities.
Yes. Yes. I would have.
That's one of the beauty of Australia, actually.
Yeah.
It's very multicultural, very. In Malaysia, they say multi-racial, but we're talking about what 4 or 5 races.
Yes.
That's it, and you and them can live peacefully together because of government policies. But here, there are over 200, at least 200 languages spoken here in
Yeah.
Australia.
And you have 3 nationalities in your own family. Right?
Yeah.
Is it like you're Swedish or
My wife is Swedish passport.
Yeah.
My kids are half mixed.
I see.
So although they're holding Swedish passport,
And okay, I see. Wow, it's
yeah,
interesting.
and then Malaysian Chinese.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the things you wish you had known, like when you first arrived in Australia?
There are not many because of my experiences of living overseas. I will always make it a point to try to find out what are the things I need to know here, and I try to adapt.
Yes.
Because as the saying goes, if you're in Rome, do like the Romans.
Yes.
Try to fit in.
Right.
And after all, they are the hosts. We in one sense we are guests until we really fully settle in.
Yes.
It's not our job to come and change them.
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
our job is supposed to adapt to them
Yes.
and fit into their scene and get the best out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I always try to make it a point to learn the culture, learn as much as I possible, and try to mix a bit.
Definitely. Do you have some advice for Malaysians, young Malaysians wanting to, go out, go overseas? Any advice for them?
Just like when I left Malaysia young, being young, I think in Europe, gold is the whole street is paved with gold.
Yes.
You just go, it's just there for the taking. Girls and young girls just throwing themselves at you and all that. That's my purpose of going there. But what I found was very different.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, you still have to work hard.
Yes.
And our generation, we didn't have much. So when we grow up, we didn't have much. We have to create our own games, entertainment.
Exactly.
So we have to work hard for everything we have.
Yes.
The millennials, they've been practically given everything.
Yeah.
So from that sense, even though we're coming from Malaysia, it's still a bit of a cultural difference in one sense.
Yeah.
Just to say.
That's right.
There's no entitlement. We don't ask what Australia can give me. They were here before us.
That's true.
It's what we can contribute, and that's what we get back. What you put in, what you get back. There's a lot of opportunities here. I find the opportunities here is a lot more because in Malaysia to be successful, you really have to work hard. But here the pays are quite decent. You want to just do any regular job and just learn the system and how to work the system.
Yes. Exactly.
And just be willing to roll up your sleeve and do whatever is necessary. Yeah. We may be trained. I met so many people because in my work I go and see people in the home. So many people with degrees, master degrees, even PhDs. Sometimes they just end up driving a taxi.
Yes.
But they don't have much choice. They have a family to feed, so they just do whatever is available to feed. So don't be too fixated
Yes.
into I'm this or I'm that.
Yes.
Take whatever is there, and then gradually build yourself up. I was doing all kind of job after I quit my restaurant job. I was door knocking.
Oh.
I have a lot of experience. I was like a sales manager, regional sales manager in Scandinavia. I run teams in different countries.
Okay.
You know, I train people on sales. I was door knocking, and you have some upstart just telling me what to do.
Yes.
So my years of experience was more than their age. So I have to just bite my tongue and just get on with it.
Yes.
And the thing is that action creates momentum.
You are right.
So when you have momentum, when right opportunity come along, you are in a good position to grab it.
Exactly.
If we just sit around and wait, opportunity will just pass us by.
Yes.
So and I've seen how just by creating the momentum, do whatever comes my way and keep moving. When something like in Chinese, they say "K ngao wan ma," right?
Yes.
You may be riding on a bull is slow, but it's still better than walking.
That's true. True.
Horse is better.
Yes.
So because I had that momentum when other opportunity came, and because I had that experience of door knocking, when I applied for the sales job in education, the sales manager know how hard it is. He said, "You have that kind of experience, I want you."
Yes.
He said that's the best and hardest training you can get in sales.
Exactly.
So because it's a very different work culture, and it was two partners. I found out later, one of the partner actually told the other partner, he said, "You know, this CJ is a bit strange. You should fire him." But the other partner was more in charge of the sales.
Yes.
He said, "No, I think he's okay. He has some quality which show me that he will be successful," and I did. I became one of the top sales person in the company,
Right.
nationwide.
Wow.
Yeah, won different holiday rewards and.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing some pictures
Yeah.
in Bali, right?
Bali, Vanuatu,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
all expenses paid for me and my wife.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time
Yeah.
and
You're
sharing all
welcome.
this story with us. Right. Thank you.
Welcome.